I am considering selling a property. I'm currently speaking to my property manager and a realtor, selling a property to buy more Bitcoin and maybe some other things. We'll talk about that in this video, why I think now actually is a good time to do something like this. Why I'm doing it specifically, what's been happening with this property that's been a bit frustrating, what some of my conclusions are, and why Bitcoin and the stock market are so valuable outside of just the returns. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. If you want to trade crypto, check out the links underneath the video. You can check out BitFi, Ubit, and also BTCC. Ubit just had a special promotion, which I'll have to reference in the next video because I don't have it off the top of my head, but there's another promotion. They've been doing so many, like giving back to the community. Everyone that signs up has been getting great bonuses and stuff. So check that out down below in the link tree. Okay, so I'm thinking about and seriously like navigating selling a property that I bought, even just, it was during the bull run, to put more into Bitcoin and into some other assets that I like to, like maybe some hyperscaler stocks. Part of it will be partly due to or dependent on timing and how the deal is structured, because I am looking at possibly a land contract deal, seller financing basically, if the deal is good enough. But I'm doing this for a couple different reasons. One, I'm looking at selling the property first and foremost because of the yield and the time that it takes. I've basically been trying to reduce my property portfolio because even if you have great properties that yield a decent amount and are structured the right way, they can still be problematic, right? I've had this property for less than 2 years, and there are still things that are popping up that are a bit frustrating, right? Like with a stock or with Bitcoin, there's never a time where all of a sudden you can be called and told that you need to pay $20,000, $30,000 for some repair. And to be clear, this property is owned in cash. I got it at what I thought was a pretty good value. It should be worth more than what I paid for it. And I have insurance on the property, yet insurance doesn't cover something. So I had a plumbing issue and insurance covered it. But I still have to pay the deductible. I still have to pay the property manager for overseeing the project. And then another thing came up that is also plumbing related, but isn't covered by insurance. So all of a sudden I have to pay $30,000. Now, I think I'll be able to recoup the cost if I sell the property, because this is stuff that other people were concerned about last time, that I just didn't think would actually happen. And we've been able to raise rents a decent amount as well. So the fact is this property is worth more now after I've done the work to it, after I've raised rents. And I think I'll actually make a decent amount of money on the deal, way more than I would have if I put into Bitcoin at the time, because Bitcoin's down 50% or so. But the other side of the deal is I'm looking at the market and I'm thinking, wow, there are some hyperscalers that are at historic lows, whether it's, Meta, Microsoft. Those companies are fantastic companies, and they're at, like, I don't want to say record lows for price to operating free cash flow, but pretty darn close. And they're growing quickly. I think they're at very good values. Amazon as well, very good value. And then I look at Bitcoin and I think, wow, when has it ever been a bad time to buy Bitcoin in a bear market when it's down 50%? Like, I'm not banking that Bitcoin's going to go up 4x in the next 3 years, right? I'm not like saying that's definitely happening. But I think there's a pretty good chance we get a 3x, a 2.5x, like that. A 2x is to all-time highs. So a 2.5x is just barely above it. And I look and I do have some cash on the sidelines, but I look at this property and, okay, let's say it does give me 8% yield. Like, I fix everything and it pays me 8% yield. Then I get 3% appreciation. Okay. Then I get some tax benefits that basically cancel out the cash flow. All right. So I get an 11% return, but I still have to deal with it, right? There's still, forms I have to fill out. I have to get information to the accountant. I have a monthly statement to look at. Maybe it only takes me an hour a week, an hour a month. But still, that's time that I could be spending doing something else. And, the stock market returns about 10 to 11% on average. Bitcoin, I think, will do much more than that based on when we're buying it. So that's one of the great things about the stock market and Bitcoin that I think a lot of people take for granted, is that you don't have to do anything with it. After you buy it, there are no capital calls. There's no time risk. There's nothing unexpected, right? The value can go down, the value can go up. There can be some stress, I guess, with like the values going down or up. But if you already have stocks, it doesn't, if you already have a portfolio, it doesn't actually take anything to add to it. There's no extra time spent. So I am exploring this. And if I do sell it, I will put a chunk into Bitcoin. And will increase my exposure as we go down further. Now, I'm already dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, but I am going to add more. And I'm also going to add levered positions, which I do have some levered positions open right now. But I would like to open up more, like 5 figures of levered, like 2 to 3x Bitcoin positions as we go down further, or just as we progress further into the bear market, because I do think we're navigating towards a bottom right now. I think we're within 6 months of a bottom. But let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. If you do want to trade yourself, there are links underneath, like I said, to Bid5, BTCC, and Ubit. I just wanted to give you some of my thoughts, because as someone that has built up a property portfolio, kind of in the bull market, taking some of those profits, taking some of my income and diversifying it into real estate, I am still holding on to some of my properties, but a couple of them, even though they're, good properties, I bought them and they've appreciated, I still, I look at it and I think, I don't have to do any work for the stock market. I don't have to do any work for Bitcoin. And yet I do have to do work for these rentals, and they pay, maybe a similar amount. So the three, actually, there are a handful of properties that I am considering still holding. And one of them, it's because I really like the property manager, and the property has been fantastic. I got it significantly undervalued because of how I structured the deal and how I found the deal. The Bitcoin toddler is smiling at me here. The other one is levered, so it's going to give a good return, most likely over time, because it's 4x levered basically. We put 25% down. And then the other property has been one that we bought and fixed up and made it a good amount of money on too, and it cash flows really well. I plan on holding those, but a couple of the other properties that have, bad tenants or just have been headaches, or they're maybe in more remote locations, I am considering selling and rotating that money, that capital, into other assets that are scalable without more work. Let me know your thoughts though. Have you ever done this? I know some people that have bought rental properties where they look back and they wish they had bought more Bitcoin. Luckily, I bought my rentals during the bull market, or the vast majority of them. So most of them have outperformed Bitcoin over that time period. But I guess there's one that I did buy in 2022. And if I had put that money into Bitcoin instead, it was a very cheap property, but I bought it in cash. It was about a $70,000, $75,000 property. I could have had a lot of Bitcoin for that, maybe 4 extra Bitcoin, which would have significantly outperformed it. So over a long time span, Bitcoin typically outperforms. Let me know your thoughts. Sorry for the office in this video, but I am following around the Bitcoin toddler today while the wife is out at appointments. So apologize for that. Thanks so much. I'll see y'all soon.